Egypt's decision to close its doors to Syrians is about to change everything you thought you knew about migration in the region. In a move that's sending shockwaves across the Middle East, Egypt has made the unprecedented decision to shut its borders to Syrian refugees, leaving thousands of families in limbo and sparking widespread outrage. For decades, Egypt has been a safe haven for Syrians fleeing war and persecution, with the country opening its arms to hundreds of thousands of refugees. But with the latest move, the Egyptian government is taking a drastic step back, citing a range of reasons that we'll dive into later. The relationship between Egypt and Syrian refugees is a complex one, spanning years of war, political turmoil, and humanitarian crises. Prior to the outbreak of the Syrian civil war, Egypt's borders were open to Syrian tourists and migrant workers, with many Syrians calling Egypt home for generations. But as the war intensified, Egypt's policies began to shift, with the government introducing stricter controls on asylum seekers and refugees. And today, we're seeing the culmination of those policies in the form of a complete ban on Syrian refugees. Egypt's decision to shut its doors to Syrian refugees is a multifaceted one, with officials citing concerns over national security, economic strain, and the need to prioritize the welfare of its own citizens. In a statement, the Egyptian government claimed that the move is necessary to protect its borders from terrorism and organized crime, adding that the country can no longer afford to shoulder the burden of hosting hundreds of thousands of refugees. The decision is a dramatic shift from the country's previous stance, which saw Egypt providing shelter to millions of refugees from across the region. The implications of this decision are far-reaching and devastating, with Syrian refugees already facing unimaginable hardships in their bid to escape war and persecution. The move is likely to push many families into even greater hardship, forcing them to seek shelter in other countries or return to a war-torn Syria. The Egyptian government's justification for the ban has also been met with widespread skepticism, with many experts arguing that the move will only fuel further instability in the region. The move is also likely to have significant geopolitical implications, with many experts warning of a potential humanitarian crisis in the making. The ban could spark a wave of refugee crises across the region as neighboring countries struggle to absorb the influx of Syrians seeking shelter. It's a move that's also likely to be closely watched by the international community, with many countries already expressing their concern over Egypt's decision. A country's decision to shut its doors to refugees is a violation of international law and a betrayal of humanity's moral obligation to protect the most vulnerable, said Dr. Ahmed, a leading expert on refugee crises. The consequences of this move will be felt for generations to come, and it's our responsibility to hold governments accountable for their actions. In conclusion, Egypt's decision to shut its doors to Syrian refugees is a shocking move that will have far-reaching consequences for the region and beyond. It's a stark reminder of the need for collective action on refugee crises and a wake-up call for governments around the world to rethink their approach to asylum seekers and migrants. Thanks for watching, and if you want to share your thoughts on this issue, please leave them in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more videos on refugee crises and global migration.